coalition are once again showing following Joey De Venecia's allegations against First Gentleman Mike Arroyo and the subsequent defense thrown behind the First Gentleman by the Arroyo kin. Jovi Francisco filed this report.
Angry brothers whose emotions were being pushed over the edge by their mother's allies. Lawmakers that serve as war bodies more than anything else. Yet another escalation of tension between two major parties in a coalition. And a mother who is known to be always in control, suddenly becoming silent and then submissive. Such were the different images seen by observers during the meeting inside Malacanang's premier guest house last night, when a good number of legislators showed up to demonstrate their support to President Arroyo by giving in to the invitation of Representatives Mikey and Dato Arroyo. Captive audience to the presidential son's outpouring of emotions over the dragging of their father's name in another controversy. The brothers were the obvious stars of the show. They once again proved that they are now political players, even if at the moment their kingdom is just the lower house. For their part, the Solons who were there proved that there is strength in numbers. But what the brothers and their fellow lawmakers do not know is that they are just mere pawns in a bigger game that two of the major political parties allied with President Arroyo are playing. It is no secret that there is tension between Campi and Lakas. It all started with Campi's party raiding of Lakas ranks, and it continued when Lakas flexed its muscles by not giving Campi Members' Choice Committee membership and leadership. Sources say the explosive ZTE broadband deal controversy is the opportunity that Campi is waiting for to get back at their rival. Hence the effort of Campi's towers, according to insiders, to make sure that the relatives of the First Gentleman feel the pain of their father, who was dragged into a mess by a son of a leader aligned with Lakas. But the moment of supposed victory also ended last night when the president, after reportedly talking to House Speaker Jose De Venecia, sent word to lawmakers inside the guest house that there will be no change in the leadership of the lower chamber. That JDV will remain speaker for now. Sources say what made the difference was what the speaker knows. A supposed reminder that he can only take too much and could not promise to shut his mouth like his son Joey. In the end, the emerging power that is Campi remains second fiddle to erstwhile political giant Lakas. All because the leader they are supporting is the kind who wants to finish her term 3 years from now and to be assured of protection beyond 2010. And as they say around political circles, until the expected next escalation of tension between the President's Campi and Lakas parties, whose names ironically translate to the strength of allies when combined. Jovi Francisco, ABC News.
An ethics complaint and a brewing coup to unseat him has not rattled Speaker Jose De Venecia. He insists all is well for the Lakas Campi coalition. Teresa Andrada has that story.
He has always been known as the consummate deal maker, but this time the deal maker himself may just come undone because of a deal his own son tried to make. With administration congressmen split down the middle over the NBN broadband deal, Speaker Jose De Venecia is putting up a brave face. When angry lawmakers converged in Malacanang Wednesday night to discuss how to counter his son Joey's charges implicating First Gentleman Mike Arroyo in the broadband deal, De Venecia himself gamely went to the palace as well. There was no ouster move, he said. No ouster of the president, and most especially, no ouster of the speaker.
I was there. We had very good relations.
Sir, hindi po ba magkakaroon ng problema within the House?
We had very good relations.
De Venecia denied there are cracks within the coalition with Campi. Last night's meeting at Malacanang was led by no less than the president's sons, Mikey and Dato.
Puro mga irresponsible speculation.
The speaker says he will ask the House Ethics Committee to probe charges. He brokered a compromise agreement between his son's company, Amsterdam Holdings, and Comelec chairman Benjamin Abalos for ZTE. He does not deny meeting with officials regarding his son's proposed contract, but he says he was just trying to reconcile differences between his son and other officials involved in the deal. Teresa Andrada, ABC News.
The chances of government getting the Senate's approval for the Japan-Philippines Economic Partnership Agreement has weakened further. Foreign Relations Committee Chair Miriam Defensor Santiago says the government panel advocating the JPEP are still focusing on technicalities without elaborating how the Philippines could benefit from the agreement. Santiago says she will put on hold the committee report on the JPEPA hearing, a move which may result in the abolition of the agreement. Harsh comments from a fellow senator had once brought her to tears. In tonight's Q&A, Senator Jambi Madrigal says she is out to prove that she is no pushover. Patrick Pais shoots the question.
It took more than an hour to set up the lighting for this interview. It wasn't vanity. Senator Jambi Madrigal just didn't want shadows on her face. She also didn't want to talk about anything other than issues and her projects. But she ended up freely talking about the leftist in her blood, her feud with Senator Enrile, and whether her French husband is her closest political advisor.
Senator Madrigal, you like to point out that you're not just a Madrigal, that you're also an Abad Santos.
Well, my being an Abad Santos has pushed me into espousing certain radical causes, which being a Madrigal would not. So my sensibilities really are more Abad Santos.
So it shouldn't be that really surprising when somebody like Senator Madrigal will be pushing for causes or meeting people like Jose Maria Sison.
Well, my grand uncle was the founder of the Socialist Party of the Philippines. So it is in the blood. Being a politician, with all the dirt that that word connotes, I cannot blame critics for saying that I'm pretending to be what I am. But if I were pretending to be what I am, I would have resigned from the Senate long ago. It's no joke to swim against the tide.
I understand that you require your staff to show up on Fridays.
Well, we have two offices.
Are you working too hard, or is the Senate not working hard enough?
I don't think it should be a competition. I think the effectivity should be the measure.
You've had some run-ins in your last 3 years here in the Senate with Enrile. It was very much covered in this.
With Senator Enrile, the problem is he wants to rewrite what happened during martial law and make himself look like a patriot instead of having been Marcos's henchman in those dark years.
So you're not shirking back from any fight? That's what I...
No, I will not, because who is he? If by seniority he thinks he can bully us, we are all elected equally.
Does your husband play any role in like,
well, as any husband,
in your political life, for example?
He gives me a lot of advice. When he married me, he knew my life would be a political one. He has a better instinct than myself. I'm a bit naive. I'm very trusting. So in that way, yes, he protects me.
Next on Centro, the presidential anti-graft body sacks 3 government executives, and O.J. Simpson posts bail.
Natuto yung